A big moment in Washington, D.C. as crowds celebrate President Obama's victory. This was the scene outside of the White House. Thousands gathered into the early morning hours, showing their support and their excitement for the re-elected president.
To New York City now, where the excitement filled Times Square, and it's a nice change from the images we've been showing out of New York in the wake of Sandy. The crowds went crazy when the president was projected to win re-election. And another major New York City landmark showing off its patriotic side. The lights on the Empire State Building, red, white, and blue. And you can see right now blue at the base of it, and that's because it is in honor of President Obama's win. Well, the American people have spoken, and you have re-elected President Obama for a second term. The president and his supporters gathered in Chicago to celebrate that victory, and George Howell is in the president's hometown with more on that big win.
Thousands packed this Chicago Convention Center to celebrate their current and future president, Barack Obama.
While our journey has been long, we have picked ourselves up. We have fought our way back. And we know in our hearts that for the United States of America, the best is yet to come.
Tonight's outcome was anything but certain. It's been 6 months and more than 100 rallies since the president officially kicked off his re-election effort. A slow economic recovery and a poor performance in the first presidential debate left the campaign in a virtual tie in the final weeks. But as the election wore on, the president continued to rack up key electoral votes. Then, shortly after 11 p.m. Eastern Time, it was Ohio that put Obama over the top, a state that became ground zero for both candidates in the final hours of the campaign. For Mitt Romney, the loss was a bitter disappointment following weeks of campaign momentum. But in a concession speech to supporters in Boston, Romney conveyed a message of unity in defeat.
I so wish that I had been able to fulfill your hopes to lead the country in a different direction, but the nation chose another leader, and so Ann and I join with you to earnestly pray for him and for this great nation.
The president says he looks forward to working with his former opponent in the future.
In the weeks ahead, I also look forward to sitting down with Governor Romney to talk about where we can work together to move this country forward.
The president in his victory speech took a very bipartisan tone, saying that Americans voted for action and not politics as usual. But again, keep in mind, this is a Democratic president who will be dealing with a House that is run by Republicans, a Senate run by Democrats. Again, the same setup, facing the same divisions that we've seen over the last 4 years. That is the very latest from Chicago. I'm George Howell reporting.